how did you first get involved with Mary's Place?
Well, I was standing at Third and Union, and I was kind of just wandering around thinking, what am I to do? And this young lady walks up and she said, hello, and you look like you kind of lost. And I said, yeah, she probably wouldn't believe how lost I am. But anyhow, she said, wow, would you like to go to lunch with me? And I said, well, I don't know myself. This is a total stranger. But I heard Jesus say that I didn't bring you this far to be afraid. And that's what I still hear now. So I said, yes, I'll go with you. And she said, by the time we got there, and she said, well, this is a place that homeless women have come to lunch and bathe and do a lot of tasks that they can't because they're not in their own place. And I go like, homeless women? I said, I never heard of that. And she said, yeah, where you come from, they don't have. I said, no, I never heard. I've been in my home with my parents since I was born. And so I began to move around, and she said, I'm going back here, and I'm coming back in a minute. And I was sitting in one chair, and this lady walked up, and she said, you're in my chair. Oh, okay. So I jumped up, and I moved, and then I looked around. It was very crowded, and I said, oh, that's the chair. So I sit there, and then this lady came, and she said, get up out of my chair. It wasn't very nice either. So I said, okay. So this one lady that's in the corner, and she said, young lady, come here, please. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you might do well at another place that I know, and it's called Mary's Place, and they practice Jesus. And I said, oh yeah, that would be absolutely. She said, no, you won't fit here. But it's down on 5th and Columbus, and you can go there, get on the phone and find the address. And they have services on Saturday. And I said, oh, wonderful, thank you so much. So from that day, I got ready, looking forward to Saturday. And Saturday did come, and I was ready to go, and I actually walked from my place to Columbus, and I walked down the stairs. I come in, and everybody's singing, and all at once the singing stopped, and this one lady said, come on in, Miss Purple. And whoa. I had everything on: purple hat, purple dress, purple coat. The only thing I didn't have was purple shoes. And so I sat down, and they had a choir singing, and the choir was singing really beautiful. I said, I always wanted to come to church on Saturday. Look, I'm just amazed. So they sang, and then we had sermon. The sister got up and started preaching, and she asked for anybody to volunteer that was new. And, just stand up. And I said, well, I'm just moved here from another state, and I am so glad to find a church that is close to my house. And she said, would you like to join us and come back through the week? We have daycare service. And I thought, oh, yeah, that would be wonderful. So meanwhile, she did say we having lunch. So when I sat down with other ladies, I got Marianne, I met her, same birthday. I couldn't believe it. Angela, Annette, two Miss Marys. It was so many ladies. They introduced themselves. And so we had a beautiful lunch. Mm-hmm. And I eventually came back that next week. But Marty, the director, she was always asking, do I need someone to read our Bible study for today? And I thought, nobody saying anything. I will. And so she let me read it. And I don't know, I love reading, so I just tried to make it, smiling with And for me, what I had been through, smile was the best thing that I could ever have done. It helped me inside. So when we finished with the presentation that day, I said, is anyone want to give me some feedback on what we just read? Anyone? So, these two ladies, they were on, I was on in the middle and they were on my left. And they both hands went up at the same time. And they went talking and I said, well, great. And she finished and the lady, I said, it's your turn now, daughter. And she started talking and I thought, wow, they really was paying attention. So it was like, oh, it was quiet in there, but people were comprehending a lot, and I thought that was supernatural. Then we had like breakfast, and then we had lunch, and then I went home. So the next week I came on a Monday and a Tuesday. And Tuesday I came, and Marty said, I need to talk with you a few minutes in my office. And I thought, Lord, what did I do? I just got here. Because my mind was not as functional as God had permitted to be, and I was always taking defense. And so I said, no, you got to go. So I went in the office, and she said, I can't believe how much of impact you did with those young ladies. And do you know, I would like to offer you a job. And whoa, yeah, are you serious? She said, yes, a job. I'm only giving you, like, if you can, 4 hours in the morning for breakfast and lunch. I said, and on top of that, I just got another job offer, and I took the evening. And she said, oh, it's perfect. So I was going like, this is amazing, God. You did say, as I travel, that you had gone before me and you were behind to protect me. And I saw scriptures just revealing itself. And then I'm going to work at Mary's Place and Metro Bus Company. I thought, this is super blessed. So I continued to go to Mary's when I could after I started working for Metro. But I never neglected going there in the morning because it was my food for my energy, for my growth to where God has brought me to now. And so that's how I began.
And what did you do during those 4 hours where you were at Mary's Place?
Well, I assist with breakfast first. Mm-hmm. And I made sure that if they need filling up, like milk in the containers, jelly, just making sure the needs were met so they kept needing to be refilled, I would do that. And then I help with the persons, they have assignment board. So they give each girl some kind of assignment, like washing dishes, cleaning the tables, and they get points for that. Mm-hmm. So after I make sure everything's cleared on the table, then I would go into the living area where all the girls are sitting on the sofa. They are either scheduled for a doctor's appointment, or they need to see the social worker, and they have to sign up at the table. And it was a young lady that worked with me named Linda Bear. She was totally blind. She was a Cherokee Indian. And she would note what they needed, and then she would give it the explanation to me. As I would, she couldn't point them out, but she said, she would just, I don't know, it was a miracle how her mind worked. And so I was so excited with her to my side. And I would just talk to the ladies, and they say, well, I need underwears, I need bra, I need deodorant. And I had to fill a list out. And then I get filled it and then come back. And then someone will say, I need to see Sister Marty. Can I see a social worker? and I would have to fill that paper out, and that's what I would do up until 11:30, and we start setting that same place for breakfast. We set it for lunch, and then we'd get setting out, and it was several cookers. We had two. Miss Taylor, that lady was extremely good cook, and she would have everything in the kitchen ready for lunch, and we made sure they got in line, get in for lunch, and after that they had to cleanse their plates and make sure everything's off the table, and then I would clean, and by that time I was getting ready to go home to get ready to go to my next job. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite memory of Mary's Place? Something that stands out?
Yes, all of them. But it's another one I thought about too. I hadn't put that on. One of the young ladies that was not talking at all, she came to me and said to me, "Miss Hester, because of you, I've joined Job Corps, and I'm getting ready to leave." And she was very tall, very attractive young lady, but she didn't put a lot of emphasis in. I wondered if it was because she lacked clothes, just that she had been through homeless and not feeling healthy about it. I said, "Oh, you're such a full-figured, good-looking woman." She said, "Really?" And I said, "Yes, you look beautiful." I said, "Might do a little on the little lipstick and get them shoulders back because you're really tall." And she said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, when are you going for the interview?" I said, "Let's pray." So we prayed, and a couple of weeks later, she got hired and was sent to Job Corps. And oh my God, it was supernatural. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Where would you hope to see Mary's Place grow to in the future?
Oh, nowhere but up to higher levels of enhancing women who bow down because of domestic violence, whatever it could have been. Believe me, when they walk in that door, there's hope there, and that's the kind of even higher hope. More of people such as Miss Marty, who has a love for our children, a high calling God. And the director, I have to give her key. She's just amazing to even have this thought some years ago and brought it all the way from another country. And to see it, now they have challengings where women have overnight stay. And at the time I joined, there wasn't. Now they can go to churches, and with their children, they can sleep that night, and a van comes to pick them up, and then they take them back that next night. They even had challenges since then for sending children that was high school kids back to school, and the mother was able to get a job. All this happened when I was there. So can you imagine where it's gonna go? Them same kids could come back and even produce more ideas, especially with the computer, what it is, technology. So technology and love in Jesus will do it. Yeah.
Thank you, Hester. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this history project?
Oh, I just thank God for having me part of it. I think it was nothing but the glory of God that brought me first to Seattle. I actually got here by a young lady who didn't even know me, but she knew my son. And she asked me would I like to come back and live with her until I got myself together. And my son was stationed here in the Air Force, so it was a big help to have had stepping stones, and that's what I would hope to see with others, the step to keep moving. Don't get paralyzed in where you are. It has nothing to do with that. But with all these executives and all these loving Christians that's a part of Mary's, it will move to higher heights. It probably will be known worldwide. Yeah, yes.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing.